Hey, how you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Open Doors. It's your boy Chris Harris. I'm so grateful that you took the time to check out this episode. The first thing I need you to do, if you haven't did so already, is to hit that subscribe button because we're dropping episodes fast. We're dropping episodes week by week, and we don't want you to miss out on the interesting topics that we have here at Open Doors. So hit that subscribe button. Also, share this podcast to the people that you know, because I know there are some people that want to get in on the conversations that we have here at Open Doors. All right, are you ready? I have an interesting topic that I want us to discuss today, and it is going to be a controversial topic. And let me just say this before we get started. You know, here at Open Doors, it's a free platform where we can discuss different topics, and we may have different opinions. It's okay if you disagree with the things that I'm saying, or I may disagree with the things that you're saying. So it's okay to have an opinion. We're not always going to agree. We're not always going to have the same point of view on a subject, and that's the beauty of it all. All right? So let's get started. I'm sure by now, because you don't live under a rock, you don't live on Mars or on Venus or somewhere else, I'm sure you've heard about all the controversy surrounding Indiana Fever rookie guard Caitlin Clark. If you don't know who Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal women's basketball player. You know, she was with the Iowa Hawkeyes, and the lady can ball. Let's put it out there. She can ball. The girl got game. She got game. She took the Iowa Hawkeyes women basketball team to back-to-back national championship games, and now she's in the WNBA. She's a guard with the Indiana Fever, and just the buzz and just the craze that's been going on around her and women's basketball today. But I want to talk about something, because you saw what happened. I know you saw what happened when they were playing the Sky, Chicago Sky, and Kennedy Carter bumped her in the back, and everything that transpired after, all the conversation, all the rage, all the media coverage. And I just want to talk about it because I got something to say. I have my point of view on this whole topic, and I want to discuss with you and hear your point of view. But the first thing I want to do, I want to lay it out for you. So let's look at this video clip about what transpired, and then we'll come back and have a discussion. Let's look at it.
So here's a breakdown of everything that happened before and after Caitlin Clark got blindsided and bumped to the floor by Kennedy Carter during today's Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game. So late in the third, Caitlin Clark poked the ball away from Kennedy Carter, leading to a Fever bucket, and Caitlin's elbow appears to make contact with Kennedy while doing so, as she turns around and celebrates in Kennedy's face, and maybe even had a few words to say. Which then, moments later, Kennedy comes down and scores, and then retaliates against Caitlin with a blindside bump, sending Caitlin to the floor as her teammate Angel Reese hypes her up from the bench. And in conclusion, the refs decided that this hit on Caitlin was a common foul and not a flagrant. Now, with all that being said, here's what Caitlin had to say about that moment.
Yeah, that's just not a basketball play, but, got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just just respond, come down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And I feel like that's kind of what we did, but, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Melissa, you said the other night.
And lastly, Kennedy let it be known that she's not answering any questions about Caitlin.
After the Fever
I didn't
score,
answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough.
What's your take on this whole situation? Let me know down in the comments below.
So that's what happened. But it's not really about just that. There's been this storyline in the WNBA, early on in WNBA, that a lot of women are jealous of Caitlin Clark, and a lot of women who are in the WNBA are envious of Caitlin Clark, and they are doing things to spite Caitlin Clark. And a lot of different conversation has come about that the women should be appreciative that she's bringing so much attention to the game, and that somebody needs to protect her, and this, that, and the third. But I just want to talk about something. I want to lay this out here today and have a conversation, because this is what I see, and I want to get your opinion about it. Is the Caitlin Clark saga, story, issue, whatever you want to call it, is it a snapshot of America? Now, you might be asking, where am I going with this? Let me say it again. When you look at the whole storyline with Caitlin Clark, and we're going to touch on different aspects of it, is it a snapshot of this country? Is it a snapshot of America? Let me start here first. You saw the play, what happened when they were playing the Chicago Sky, and Kennedy Carter came after she made the bucket, and she bumped her with an elbow. She gave her an elbow shot and she fell. Now, let me say this. It was a dirty play. Or let me say it this way. It wasn't a basketball play, as many have been saying. It wasn't. It was no need for her to do that. Actually, they lost by 1 point. So that foul really cost them the game. It was a stupid, let me just say it that way. It was a stupid play, because we're competing and we're trying to win the game, and we're competing against a team like this, and we're going back and forth. You don't need those things to hinder you, because those little things like that can cost you a game, and it cost them a game. They lost by 1 point. So we get that out of the way. We know what it was. It wasn't a basketball play, and it actually was something that hindered the Chicago Sky. But the way it's been talked about in the media, the way it's been, in my opinion, blown out of proportion, you would have thought that Kennedy Carter got a head start and did a sprint and pushed Caitlin Clark over. You would have thought that Kennedy Carter took a chair and hit Caitlin Clark over the head. I mean, just the overblown commentary when it comes to this play. Because you know what? It's sports. This happens in sports all the time. Don't act like this is something new. Don't act like, oh, I've never seen anything like this in sports. I've been watching sports for the longest. I'm 42 years of age. I've been watching sports all my life. I've watched basketball. I've watched baseball, football, tennis, hockey, you name it. It's sports. Stuff like this happens in sports. So we can't act like oh my God, we're so blown away. We're so surprised that something like this will happen. It happens in sports. Whether you think it's a bad play, whether you think it's a dirty play, whether you think it's a non-basketball play, it's not the first time you've seen something like that. It happens in sports. I mean, the Caitlin Clark fans, in my opinion, might be worse than Taylor Swift fans. The Caitlin Clark fans are maybe worse than the Beehive, than Beyonce's fans, because they will come after you. It's like a cult following when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Let's get out of the way. It's sports. We've seen stuff like this happen all the time. Another thing I want to bring to your attention. Caitlin Clark is not the first athlete that's come into a league and the people feel like, oh, she has the hype, or this athlete has the hype. And we're going to see if they're really that person. We're going to see if they're really all that. Because people have been talking about, oh, Caitlin Clark, she's been receiving some, unnecessary aggression from the ladies when she plays. Some unnecessary, women been getting in her face and hard fouls and things of that nature. It's basketball. It's basketball. That stuff happens. But she's not the first athlete to come in with hype. And the other athletes, they want to see if that hype is real. They did the same thing with Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan came into the league, some of you, maybe you're too young to remember. Some of you have selective amnesia, maybe selective memory. But when Michael Jordan came into the league, Michael Jordan got fouled. I mean, Michael Jordan came in with the hype, and Michael Jordan came in and he was, taking the league by storm, The other athletes in the league, they're professionals. They have pride in their game. Oh, we're not going to let this young guy come in the league and just take over the league. I've been in this league. What about, the ones the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons and the Kareems and those people who were in the league before him, Isaiah Thomases and the Joe Dumars who were in the league before him. They're not going to let this young guy just come in the league and show us up. So they like, look, we going to see if he really all that. We're going to see if he really got game. Remember the Jordan rules. The Detroit Pistons, they beat Michael Jordan up. Different things happened. Remember, they froze Michael Jordan out the All-Star game. These different things happened because Michael Jordan was next. He was the next big thing. And what happened with Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan had to go past it. Michael Jordan had to keep going. And after a while, they was like, oh, he really got game. Oh, they said he was really the man. Oh, he's really it. He's really it. And the people, I can say it this way, Michael Jordan gained the other players, the veterans, respect. LeBron James. There was things that happened to LeBron James. I remember, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, Deshaun Stevenson, somebody who came in a playoff game. He make it seem like he was going for the basketball and he smacked LeBron James in the head. There were different things that people were doing because there was this rumor that LeBron James was soft and different things that were going on. But these were a lot of the players and a lot of the veterans, because LeBron was the anointed king before he even came into the league. What they call him, King James. LeBron was the anointed king. So they're like, look, we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see if you're the anointed king. And they did things to him. They, unnecessary fouls, non-basketball plays that happened. But LeBron kept going. He kept going. He kept going. He kept pushing through. And the people had to step back and say, you know what? This brother got game. This brother is it. So it happens in sports. That's where I'm going. Even someone like Lonzo Ball. I remember when Lonzo Ball came out of UCLA and came with the Lakers. Lonzo Ball, people tried him. Patrick Beverley, the first night, he was on his case. Other players tried him, not because anything that he did, but because his father was running his mouth. LeVar Ball was running his mouth and had talked a big game. So, okay, because of your father, he talked a big game. You got to deal with this madness. But Lonzo Ball didn't cry. Lonzo Ball kept hooping. He kept hooping and to just push through all the madness. So this stuff happens in sports. But I'm asking the question because I believe this thing has been blown all out of proportion. I can't believe we even talking about it. Come on. Yeah, it was a dirty play. Yeah, it was a bad play. But she gave her a little elbow. It wasn't even that hard. The elbow wasn't even that hard. It was wrong. It was, we call it out. People have called it out. It was a bad play. But she gave her a little elbow shot. Saying? She lost herself in her emotion. She gave her elbow shot. They upgraded to a flagrant. Let's move on. It happens all the time. It's not nothing new. But poor Caitlin Clark. That's what the media is saying. Poor Caitlin Clark. How could they do this to Caitlin Clark? So that's what brings me to this topic. Because we've heard so much about Caitlin Clark. We've heard so much. And there are some ladies in the WNBA who are balling. They are balling. There are so many talented ladies who are balling before Caitlin Clark. But all you hear about is Caitlin Clark. And that's okay. But it's poor Caitlin Clark. That's all we hear. How could they do this thing? Why are people envious and jealous of Caitlin Clark? She hasn't did anything to nobody. Poor Caitlin Clark. And probably let's call it out there. There probably are envy. It probably is some resentment because she's been anointed before she even stepped into the WNBA. We know what she did in Iowa, and the girl can play. I said that in the beginning. The girl can ball. I was watching her in the tournament. I said, look, this girl can hoop. Is she a bad girl? This girl a bad girl. This girl pull up from the logo, pull up from half court and drop it. A female Steph Curry, she can ball. Her vision on the court, her assists, everything. She can ball. There's no doubt. If you say she can't ball, you're lying to yourself. She can ball. But the craze and how the stories are blown so out of proportion, that's what I want to talk about. Because I'm asking, is this a snapshot of America? And I'm going to put it in layman's term. I'm going to hit you point blank, direct. It's all this hype about Caitlin Clark, all this hoopla about Caitlin Clark, all this coverage because she's white. Because she's white. Is there a double standard there? Because in my point of view, right, we weren't really checking for Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was doing her thing. I remember watching 2 seasons ago, the tournament. Caitlin Clark was doing her thing. I was watching it from afar, but I really wasn't even paying attention to women's basketball like that. I saw it from the media coverage, ESPN. I said, oh, this girl can play. I saw it. But as a group, the majority of people, as the mainstream, we weren't really checking for Caitlin Clark. It wasn't even a story until the national championship game when LSU beat Iowa. Now, all through the tournament, Caitlin Clark, she's a competitor. She's playing, and she's doing this. She's hitting shots. You can't see me. She's doing this. She's talking trash. She's in people's face. Oh, she's a competitor. Oh, she's a competitor. She's a fierce competitor. But come the national championship game, and LSU beats Iowa, and then Angel Reese is like, oh, I saw what you did. Oh, you were giving it out. Oh, how you like us now? How you like us now? Oh, you can't see us. Oh, you can't see us. Oh, you can't see us. She's doing her thing because she also is a competitor. When Caitlin Clark was doing it, oh, she's a fierce competitor. Oh, she's, just I never seen a women's game, a basketball competitor like that. But then Angel Reese does it. Oh, how dare you? How dare you taunt Caitlin Clark? But when Caitlin Clark was playing other teams, what was she doing? Oh, what was she doing? She was in people's face. She was trash talking. Why? Because that's part of the game. People trash talk. That's their competitive fire that's in them. They do it. It's all gamesmanship. It's all in competition. It's not personal. People do it all the time in different sports. But the first time somebody does it back to Caitlin Clark, oh, people are in uproar. Oh, Angel Reese is a terrible person. You never met her a day in your life. You don't even know her. She's a terrible person. Oh, she doesn't have any sportsmanship. You should, young ladies are looking at you. You should have sportsmanship. Well, Caitlin Clark was doing it, and a lot of young ladies are looking at Caitlin Clark, but you said nothing about Caitlin Clark. Is it because she's white? Is there a double standard? Because they looked at and they called the South Carolina ladies thugs. Angel Reese, they talk so bad about this young lady. And let's not forget, these are young ladies. They're young. They're young. They're still growing. They're still maturing. They're still finding their way. But they're young. They're young ladies playing the game of basketball and being successful, and doors are opening for them. But they're young ladies. But the words that are talked about with Angel Reese. And Angel Reese can ball. Angel Reese can ball. She's a walking double-double. She can ball. She's a fierce competitor. Caitlin Clark is a fierce competitor. There's nothing wrong with little trash talk. But when Caitlin Clark does it and when Angel Reese does it, I hear different scenarios. Oh, Angel Reese, she's a bad person. She's trash. She's this, she's that. But when Caitlin Clark, oh, she's so awesome. Oh, she's just a fierce competitor. Oh, she's just great. The same stuff they do on the basketball court. But you hear a different dialogue when it comes to the two. Is it because she's white? I said, is this a snapshot of America? Also, does the media have a big role to play in this? Because it feels like the media is pushing an agenda. Because I'm looking at this story, and I'm like, everywhere I turn, I see this story about Kennedy Carter pushing Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese jumping up, supporting her teammate. And this is what Angel Reese said. And this is what this player said about Caitlin Clark, and this, that, and the other. It feels like the media has an angle to divide us. The media is pushing this racial divide, and it's evil. It's evil. Because at the end of the day, it's basketball. Let these girls play basketball. Let these girls compete. Let these girls compete. Now, I was saying earlier, yeah, some of the ladies probably are envious because It happens in sports because I've been in this game. Aja Wilson, I think her name Aja Wilson, balling. There are other ladies who've been in the game for years balling, and they're probably looking at like, wow, this girl haven't even gotten to the league yet, and look at her shoe contract. Oh, her games are on ESPN. They're promoting her. So I'm sure there's a little envy. Now, me personally, my advice to the ladies was like, hey, you better ride that train, because when the better that Caitlin Clark does and the more popularity that she brings to the game, whether you like it or not, is good for you. Hey, it's a capitalist society that we live in. Hey, as she blows up, we blow up. The game blows up. The popularity blows up. The attention comes. I get it. As Angel Reese, she comes in. A lot of people are watching for Angel Reese. You know, a lot of people love Angel Reese as well. As they come in, these young guns, these young women, and they come in, they're bringing the game, you know, to us. The popularity is increasing. More people are checking for the game. But I want to go back and say this. A lot of us weren't checking for Caitlin Clark until Angel Reese did what she did. That really made Caitlin Clark. That really, in my opinion, that made Caitlin Clark. So why is all the hoopla about Caitlin Clark? Because we weren't checking for, let's be honest, you weren't checking for Caitlin Clark like that. I saw from afar, I was like, oh, that old girl can ball. She can ball. Okay, man, she doing her thing in Iowa. Iowa's not one of those programs you thought would be in the national championship game. You look at the comments, you know, UConn, Tennessee, some of these ones like that. You know, LSU rolls up. You look at them like that. But in Iowa, Iowa, you know, and then you see Caitlin Clark doing her thing. But she didn't really get a household name, in my opinion, into the national championship game when Angel Reese did what she did. So I go back, is it because she's white? Meaning that, is this hoopla because of her game, or is this hoopla because she's the great white hope? Or as some people would say, the great white hype. Because it's been so much controversy. It's been so much limelight on one female basketball player. And I'm asking why. A lot of it, I believe, is the media. The media has an angle. And they're pushing this racial divide, but it shouldn't be about race. Let these women play basketball. Okay, she elbowed her. Okay, move on. It happens. Man, you know how many times it happens in the NBA? These things happen. Nobody gets worked up about it. When somebody does a flagrant foul, oh man, that was a flagrant foul. Man, why you do that for? Move on. It's not even talked about. It's not even on the storylines of Sports Center. How many flagrant fouls happen in the NBA playoffs? Happen in the NBA finals? How many flagrant fouls probably happen in the men's NCAA tournament? I'm just talking to you right now. I just want you to think about this for a second. One little elbow is blown all out of proportion. Why? What are we looking at here? Because I said the girl can ball, but just the spotlight, is it because she's white? The outcry, is it because she's white? Do a lot of people hate Angel Reese because she's black? Because the stories, the stuff I hear, the commentary I hear about Angel Reese, they attack her. Oh, now you want to go to her GPA. Oh, she had a bad GPA. What does that have to do about basketball? Matter of fact, who will put her GPA out there? That person needs to be dealt with, because that shouldn't be public information. But you want to attack her GPA because people always want to take away the focus from what we're really focused on and put it on somewhere else. They did it with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick bowed during the national anthem. Oh, he's disrespecting the flag. Oh, he's disrespecting the national anthem. He's saying it's not about the national anthem. But what those words mean doesn't mean the same thing for me. What America's supposed to stand for, he's saying, doesn't have the same effect for me and people look like me, because we're still suffering in this country. That's what he was saying. But there are people who try to take the focus off of that endeavor the focus off of that, what he was trying to say. Oh, it's about the flag. It's about the flag. It's about the flag. And that's all people saw was the flag. So everything that he was saying, they drowned it out. They painted Colin Kaepernick as a bad person. They painted him as a terrorist. They painted him as a militant. And all he was trying to say, look, if America is a land of freedom, if this is the Pledge of Allegiance, and this is opposed to what we say when the Pledge of Allegiance to this flag, what it says is supposed to mean the same thing for everybody, every American citizen. But there are a lot of American citizens, if you would ask them, if people of color, if you would ask them, doesn't feel the same effect. When Trump came out, he said, make America great again. There are a lot of people asking, when was America ever great? Because to them, America wasn't great. Maybe to you, because you've been privileged. But to people, they struggled. They faced discrimination. So when you say make America great again, they're asking, they're looking at their calendar. They're trying to go back in memory. Okay, what is he talking about? When was America great? So that was what Colin Kaepernick was trying to communicate. But because people started talking about the flag, they drowned out everything that he was saying. They couldn't get past the flag. And he said, it's not a disrespect to the flag. Actually, he said, I was kneeling because I talked to someone who was in the military, and they said that was more of a form of respect if you kneel for the national anthem and you kneel for the flag. So there is this dialogue, there is this just a commentary out there about Angel Reese, about Caitlin Clark. And I wonder, because none of it makes sense to me. Because you don't know Caitlin Clark, number one. You don't know Angel Reese, number two. But the vitriol and the hatred on both sides for the both. But these are young ladies just trying to play basketball. Let them play. Let them play. Take the race out of it. Take the hatred out of it. And let these ladies do their thing. What do you think about this topic? What do you think about it? It's controversial. It's controversial because this thing has been blown all out of proportion. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? In the comments I see from people painting Angel Reese as a bad person, Kennedy Carter as a bad person. The ladies from Chicago, Sky is a bad person. Anyone who comes against Caitlin Clark, you're a bad person. You're evil. I said these Caitlin Clark fans to me are worse than Taylor Swift or Beyonce fans. They will come after you. But it's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Let these ladies ball. Let's see what happens with the WNBA. These are great talents out there. Stop the racial stuff. Stop the hatred. Come on. In 2024, why are we still talking about race? Why are we still talking about race? America will be so awesome. Make America great again. It hasn't even been great. But America can be great if we get rid of the hatred. It's nonsense. We all bleed the same. We all bleed the same. If you cut each person, what comes out? Red blood. We all have a heart. We all have a brain. We all have a soul. We all have a spirit. We're all created by one God. Racism is just a lie of the devil. And we waste so much energy, so much time on it. Enough is enough. Get racism out of women's basketball. Get racism out of sports. Get racism out of America. I know it's easier said than done. But what's your viewpoint on this topic? Because I think it's a snapshot of America. This whole Caitlin Clark issue. Because I think people embrace her, they love her just because she's white. The hoopla because she's the great white hope. Because in the African American, let's throw it out there, dominated sport, this white girl is coming in and she's balling. And she deserves every applause. She deserves every ovation because the girl can ball. The girl can ball. But has it gone too far, is what I was saying? Has she earned this type, the measure of hoopla around her? Is it because of her race? So what's your viewpoint on this topic? Like I said, we can agree, we can disagree. We all have our different opinions. I would love to hear your opinion on this topic. Like I said, it's controversial. Talk to me. Share your comments in the comments section. Share this podcast to people that you know. Let's spark a conversation about this. Before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out to the Dream Team, Blessed Dreams Production, my boy Alfred, Eyes Have Not Seen, my sister Marilyn. Remember to connect with me on Instagram, Young King. In case you forgot, hit that subscribe button. And until the next time an episode drops, be blessed.
Don't ever take nothing for granted, man. Hey, you gotta wake up and realize that